home when you left. You're right. Your sister was home when you left. You're right. Your brother was home when you left. You're right. The dog was home when you left. You're right. The cat was home when you left. You're right. The fish was home when you left. You're right. Your mommy, your daddy, your brother, your sister, the dog, the cat, the fish was home when you left. You're right. And that's the reason you left. You're right.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, men and women. Welcome to Attorney Commander Galpohkpa Chesson talk show. Today is January the 19th. Today is Freedom of Speech Day. All right, in my Liberian community, it's Freedom of Speech Day. But before we get there, let me deal with my American community first, because I am a man of dual nationalities. let's hang it to my thing. Okay, my topics this morning are United States Supreme Court and courts. Number 2, freedom of speech in Liberia's society. 3, where do Liberians start with future processes of change? Let's get into my topic. United States Supreme Court and courts. The reason I'm touching on the United States Supreme Courts and courts this morning, because our courts have stood firm. Our courts have proven to the American people and society that they are an institution, an instrumentality of our government that is above politics, that is above stupidity, that is above nonsensical nonsenses in our society. Why? Because the United States courts stood firm in America's darkest hour. America's courts stood on a foundation of law, order, and the Constitution of the United States of America. And you see what makes me so proud of the American court is that they reaffirm my faith and belief in the laws, in our Constitution, in our courts that are given responsibilities under our Constitution to remain independent, to remain professionals, to remain the body in our government that are technocrats. They are not foolish people. They are the real educated people in our society. Why? Anybody can be elected to be a representative. Anybody can be elected to be a president. Not anybody can be a lawyer. Not anybody can serve in the Bar Association of the Republic of Liberia and be empowered and assured the rights, privileges, responsibilities as lawyers to pursue positions in our courts, to enter in our courts and defend and prosecute Liberian citizens. And that's where the courts are empowered to stand alone and look at society, look at all the fuss, look at all the commotion, and stay under it and just watch and take notes. So when there are disturbances, unrest, instabilities, and unpeaceful situations in our society, we have somebody to turn to. We don't have to go to the politicians that do a lot of talking and no actions, or to the same legislature we have in Liberia who are lawmakers and are devoid of the technical training of lawyers, not to only pass law, but to decipher our laws, to tear it apart and see if it conforms with the Constitution of Liberia. Does it supersede? Does it conform to or with? Is it consistent with the Constitution? Those are different things that impact our laws. No law in Liberia can come close to the Constitution of Liberia. It is the highest law of our land. And the Supreme Court is empowered to mitigate, extenuate, make, change, approve of any laws in our nation emanating from its lower courts, emanating from our diplomatic communities. The Supreme Court has exclusive jurisdiction over those kind of things. Foreign nations, foreign people, foreign government officials. So our Supreme Court is the backbone and the support of our Constitution. It is the institution that ensures peace and stability in our society by their professional examination, reviews, inputs, and criticism of our laws, disagreement with our laws. That's why in our courts we have dissenting opinions of judges who do not agree with the majority of the other judges. If you got 6 judges or 7 judges and 5 of them decide one way and one judge disagrees with their decision to the point that they feel they had to make an opinion of their own that is different from the majority opinion, but that is still an opinion that is considerate of the law at hand or the issue at hand. So that's when they do dissenting opinion. So we can see that even though the majority went this way, there is one judge that has a rationale that is sound, but it's different from the masses of the other judges, the majority judges. So when we rely on our Supreme Court and our courts to be fair, impartial, just, honest, trustworthy, our society remains intact. Our society remains strong, like the United States of America. Now that's why we can punish Donald Trump. That's why we got to punish Mitch McConnell too. That's why we got to punish Ted Cruz. We got to punish Lindsey Graham, all that stupid thing he talking. He got to be punished. Why? Because in their disagreement with the election results, they pursued every legal path that is and was available to them. And many of the courts they went through were Republican judges. The Supreme Court of the United States, Donald Trump just appointed somebody else to the Supreme Court. And that person stood with the majority in every case of Donald Trump's claims of unfairness, of corruption, of cheating, of tampering, or do anything with the electoral votes. He had every option. He went to every Supreme Court, every court that had jurisdiction to hear his case. He went as far as the Supreme Court, and he was denied. What else you want to do? Where else can you go? Why would you want to disrupt the processes, the security, the peace of the United States of America? Why would this man want to do it? Why would Mitch McConnell want to support this evil man for 4 years? Disrespected Barack Obama. He's all too powerful. Mitch McConnell is ancient and old and must resign. His wife resigned out of shame. His wife, who was one of the biggest supporters of Donald Trump's regime, resigned. Because she came to the realization of the fact that this man is mentally sick. He is mentally sick, whether he wants to admit it or not, whether you Republicans believe it or not, he's mentally sick. He's mentally sick. And if you all keep allowing this Donald Trump to tamper with the national security affairs of our country, will be betrayed and will be attacked by foreigners while we're sleeping. Your thing will happen on Capitol Hill, at the Capitol building, with Congress in the joint session, was anything not to take serious? You'll keep it up. We wake up in our beds one morning. We wake up with issues stamping from this same racism, race superiority, race supremacy, and leaders in our government who have betrayed us and continue to be trusted to serve in our government when they should be removed. Racists, old men with no consciousness, greedy and wealthy, and cares nothing for nothing else but money and how they and their family are getting enriched in America today. How long can we do that? How long can we pursue these paths? But before we come to our consciousness, before the so many millions of people who are racists and race supremacists and just drivers or slave people in America, their children who attack our Capitol building, are the underbellies of our society. And these are the people who cannot come to grips with the reality that nobody working for them no more. They will have no black people to drive and run to our deaths time and time again. Y'all can take up all the damn arms you want. Y'all can take up all the long guns you want. It ain't mean nothing. You false Christians will come to understand that Jesus Christ lives, exists, and hits deceivers and traitors and people who don't even know about Christianity, but they go around calling Jesus' name and want to kill other people for Jesus when they don't even know what the Bible means to them, what the Bible is, or what even the teachings of Jesus Christ are. Deceivers of the truth, racists, haters of human beings, inhumane people, you will meet. You will meet the rugged cross of Jesus Christ sooner than you think. Freedom of speech in Liberia's society. My Liberian people, you gotta understand one thing. We live in a very small society. We live in a united society, whether we like it or not. Whether you like the Congo people or not. The Congo people have set foundation of Liberianism, of Liberian society and societal norms that all of us adhere to. And in our adherence to these principles and things, we must understand what our laws, what the things we say and believe in really mean to us, and we got to understand their meanings, their implementations in our society. We got to understand it. And we don't understand our society, we fail time and time again. First of all, I told you all, Liberia is not a monolithic society. That means all of us not the same people. We don't do the same things. We don't act the same way. How will you expect our laws to behave the same way, to be monolithic, to apply one way only? That's not how our laws go. Freedom of speech is freedom of speech. What do you think when the law would say freedom of speech and they're joking? They say, oh, freedom of speech. Oh, but don't say this too high. You can't do that too low. Is that freedom of speech? I sit down and listen to all of your argue, and coming up with all your terminologies and all of this of what freedom of speech should be. Freedom of speech is not something you can make up. It's not something you can just look at society. Oh yeah, I assume freedom of speech is this. No, that's not freedom of speech. Freedom of speech is a law. It's in our constitution. It's an inherent part of our society. And unless and until we understand what freedom of speech means, our people will never be free. And one of the first things that impacts freedom of speech in Liberia is our societal structure. It's our economic structure. It's our standard of living structure. Everything impacts our freedom of speech. Why? Because if I am feeding you, if I am clothing you, your freedom of speech better coincide with my freedom of speech, or else you're out of my house. Or else you're not getting fed by me. Or else you're not getting clothed by me. That is the essence of freedom of speech. He who controls the wealth, he who controls the money, he who controls the people, decide what freedom of speech is. That is survival of the fittest. And when we live in some communities and societies where our whole life and our whole lives and livelihood depend on survival of fittest, or who can appease the most to benefit from, we never have fair laws. We never have fair implementation of our constitution. We never have fair implementation or interpretation of our laws. Our people will always be damn confused. And when you're confused, we can never come to a conclusion or arrive at a solution that is satisfactory to all of us. We can't. Because when we don't know our law, we don't know the essence of our law, we think that our laws are what we think it should be, it can't work. It can't work. And that's the problem with our society. Freedom of speech is freedom of speech. Let me give you the common definition from the dictionary. I'm not even going to the legal definition. I'm just giving you the common definition. Go online right here and just type freedom of speech and see what comes up. This is what came up for me. Freedom of speech is a principle that supports the freedom of an individual or a community to articulate, express their opinions and ideas without fear for retaliation, censorship, or legal sanction. What all of that mean? It means that nobody can stop your speech. You are free to speak anywhere, anyhow you want to speak. They can't control your speech. They can't punish you for speaking. And people can't retaliate against you in the government because you speak or what you say. No. But we have to understand one thing. There's a difference between freedom of speech and regulating societal behavior and norms. There's a difference. But you still cannot stop freedom of speech. We know that in our society, our president has a radio station called Freedom FM. That he has a buffoon called what his name? Fagon, Eugene Fagon. He goes on that station and insults people, and go after people personally. That's a government institution. If the government can do it, why Henry Costa can do it? If that idiot, Eugene Fagon, can carry his stupid, useless self on the government radio and insult other people and is intolerant of criticism, why can't Costa? And let me tell you all, Liberian people, you'll say, you'll come on the air, Darius Dillon cuss, Henry Costa cuss. Sometimes you got to. Do you people hear the stupid questions and statements some Liberian people make here? They come with their minds made up and want to act like they want questions and answers to solution to problems, and they don't. So when you come across those kind of idiots, you got to treat them, let's treat idiots like they are. We are in a third world country. We are not in no damn civilized country. Look at America today. People cussing on the TV now. You hear them beeping, representatives and senators, because they piss off with the country. You hear people talking about sanctioning them or putting them on the air. No, you put a beep on. Beep, beep. So people can know that the language they're using is not conducive for the public at that time. So freedom of speech cannot be derailed. The government can regulate our frequencies, our radio frequencies. That's what they call the FCC in America, Federal Communication something. They monitor all the frequencies for the radio stations and everything. They set rules and laws of how people can utilize the airwaves. And not once do they stop people from speaking. No. But as a regulatory agency, you have the right to set time frames for certain kind of speech. And this where our Liberian people you stay in America all these years, and you can't understand these things. Do they stop Howard Stern? Do they stop Maha? Do they stop all these people that cuss and use profanity on their shows? No. They gave them a time slot when children are not awake, when immature people are asleep. Because just how you monitor society and say, okay, from 8 to 6, children are up. Or from 8 to 8, children are up. So mainstream TV, in Liberia, we don't have regular radio station no more. First in Liberia, we had ELBC, which was separate for education, for children. Then you had the FM. Certain hours in the FM time for children. Certain hours for adults. They want to listen to sex music. They want to listen to groove music. You want to be with a chick in the bed. You don't care about children listening to your music. Then you got Howard Stern hour where he doesn't care about anybody. He cusses anybody. Everybody. That's freedom of speech. And under freedom of speech, you cannot stop a radio station because they bring in a host. How you stop the people's whole business to restrict one star? You see, and this is why our law abhors. You cannot start making laws just for one person. No. You can't do that. It's a violation of our law. It's like Congress, the legislature going in the legislature and making one law say, Casta law. Casta cannot broadcast in Liberia. You can't do that. How you attack one person and make a law and restriction on that one person when the government got the same damn radio station broadcasting the same profanity and the same uselessness, then you stopping other people. If you're going to regulate the airways, set up a board or a commission separate from the information ministry. Set up a commission that will be strictly responsible for monitoring the airways, for setting laws and precedents to govern the airway, to govern freedom of speech. You cannot stop freedom of speech. It's a constitutional guaranteed right. You can regulate it. You can't stop it. And that's the responsibility of government, to regulate speech. Everybody can't speak the same thing at the same time. No, for the public safety, you can't speak it, but you cannot stop the people from speaking. That's why we have cable. That's why we have regular TV. That's why we have certain times you can do certain things on TV. You go to cable, that way you can watch anything you want to watch. You go to YouTube. YouTube is not restricted only to teaching people things. YouTube got sex. They got profanity. They got pornography on YouTube. But they guide it. When you go to the station, they ask you, you're 18 years of age. You got parental control. So all those things are guaranteed. So if you got a TV in America, you have the opportunity to set your channel so you can protect your children from just going through and picking any random channel that's showing a sex show or showing camera cussing George Weah in Liberia. But you can't stop freedom of speech. You can hold a person accountable for their speech. Speech is writing, speaking, art, science, anything that gives an expression of what you want to say. That's freedom of speech. They call that one freedom of expression. It includes speech, it includes art, it includes science, it includes everything that you want to express. It's different from speech. It's an expression. So you have these different kinds of speech. And the only thing that prevents me from speaking anything I'm speaking is because my rights ends where other people's rights begin. So if I come and say something about somebody, that's slander. If I come and write something about somebody, that what the other thing named libel and slander. So you got to understand the laws. And if you slander the government have a right to bring a charge against you. That's saying something that's untrue. But you can't stop the man from cussing George Weah. Who the hell is George Weah? George Weah is the president of our country. He took an oath to protect and defend Liberian people. And if he's not protecting and defending Liberian people, if our banks are bankrupt and we're all money, you expect me, who can't eat, who can't feed my children, who can send my children to school, to come sit down and talk to George Weah that he's some kind of human being? I'm supposed to be enraged. And you will stop my speech because I'm enraged as the ineptness, the stealing, the corruption, the killing of a useless government from Ellen Johnson Sirleaf to this very time. You stop me from speaking against it? You must be stupid. So we got to understand speech. There's nothing wrong with the government saying, okay, Casa, look, we know you won't cost us. We all know you won't do everything to us. We ain't got nothing with that, but you can't do it from 8 to 8. That cheering time. Not only do you say things that are provocative, you say things that you use profanity, you express yourself in any way that you express, and we can't have our young children listening to that. So your show can come on from 9 to 6 in the morning. Anytime in that time you can come on that adult station. People won't hear you, they gotta wake up 2 o'clock to listen to you. We're not stopping you, but you can't broadcast the time that our children listen to the radio. That's all you can do to Costa. That's what they do in America. That's why you see late night shows. They say anything on late night show because children are supposed to be sleeping. These people got standards. Your children wake up 6 in the morning and by 9 o'clock at night, they're supposed to be in bed, getting ready for school the next morning, getting the rest they need. And if your children are up watching TV, then you are a bad mother. You are a bad parent. You are not taking care of your children. Then how can you stop Costa because of your own negligence? Just as we have a right to listen to clean TV, we have a right to protect our children and family from things that come on TV and news. Not every speech can be restricted. Not every speech can be controlled. Our laws say freedom of speech. That's what it is. Freedom of speech. You can say anything you want to say. But you got to remember, you are responsible for what you say. Not the radio station. How the radio station will give Casa a start to make their money. Henry Casa is a star in Liberia. If I had a radio station, I would want him on my station. It will bring me money. It will bring me customer. Government can't stop me from making money. That's commerce. You can't stop me from making money. I ain't infringing no laws. I ain't infringing the Constitution. I ain't infringing upon no municipality laws. So how will you come and tell me to stop speaking? But I don't want to spend long time on this. I finish. And that's why I go to these other channels and listen to the people and their arguments. Because I'm a teacher. I'm not here to argue. I'm not here to change people's minds. I'm here to lay my teaching down as it should be. After listening to all the stress and yelling and yo-yo on the other channel, on the other advocates thing, I'm stressed enough. So when I come to my show, I don't want to bring all that stress to my show. People calling me and going through the same routine and seeing statements that I heard on Gali's show. We are a united community. You listen to one host speak, you may listen to all of them speaking the same thing. So why would I bring people on to repeat the same thing everybody has been talking? My job is to listen to people, listen to the arguments, and bring it here and set it up the legal way or the rational way so you can understand what that means. So that's how I'm dealing with freedom of speech. Every Liberian has the right to free speech. Every Liberian can say anything they want to say. Government cannot stop you from speaking. They can regulate your speech, but they can't stop it. Because of certain norms in society, government has to regulate speech. Because our children have to be protected. We heard all of that on Kali's show and all of that. We got to protect our society and blah, blah, blah. We got to protect it from incitement and everything. Insurrection. But like we talk about protests, strikes, those are legal statements. Those are legal things society can do that are not against any law. Only when you're causing unrest and you're bringing harm to the society, then it's against the law. Peaceful protest is not against the law. Strikes are not against the law. Statements against the government and the president when he's corrupt, inept, and useless like George Weah, it's not against the law. Cost that idiot. He's a criminal. But you got to be responsible for what you say. So if you're cussing a man and you're saying things that are not true, and you be lying yourself and trying to bring yourself down by trying to lie and make false statements and things against the president or the government, you are held responsible for that. So I'm just here to say, stopping the radio station from hosting Costa's show is deny them the right to make a living, to do their business and make money. If the government got a problem with Costa, go after Costa. Go after Costa. If they really got a problem with him, issue a writ of arrest and stop his show. You know, when you charge the man with a criminal offense, then you have a right to tell a radio station stop the show. But if you're wrong, the radio station can sue you too. Not because you're government. When you stop the processes of a business, you gotta know why you stop it. You gotta have genuine, probable cause for stopping a business. That the people livelihood. The people pay money to government to register their business. They didn't just come and ask for it. They had to go through legal processes to get their licenses. You can't just take it from them like that. No. For you to take people license from them like that, you got to go to court. The government can't just come and say, we revoke your license. No. No. That's an interest. And you can't do that. So if you do that, you're not protecting the rights and interests of the people that own the business. Costa is not wanted by the Liberian government. There's nothing in the news, nothing on internet or anything that ever told us that Costa was wanted for arrest. Costa said he went back. His case is in court. So if the man's case in court, how can you come? How can the government stop his thing? Only the court can stop it. So the government can go to the court and appeal to the court. And the court can issue a judgment or an action on a case ordering the radio station to stop, to stay, because the case is still pending. But for the government to, a case pending, you interject in the case and stop the man from making his living in Liberia, you can't do that. And these are the guarantees and protection we have to protect for ourselves and our family. Because what happened to Costa can happen to anybody in Liberia. And these are the things that we need to set straight. And only our courts can set it straight. Only our judiciary. And our judiciary is weak. Our judiciary is failed. You see? Nothing government act like that wrongful action. Costa then should be able to sue the government and bring a stay to that action of the government. And let the court find out if they're wrong or right for doing it. And if they're wrong, they got to compensate the radio station and Costa for the days they missed airing their show. So until we learn our laws and what freedom of speech is, there is no freedom of speech in Liberia because we are a parental governed society. Liberian people don't have the wherewithal to get up and say, "Oh, we're going to Basel to look for a job." There are jobs in Basel, like in America, here, where you can get up and say, "Oh, I tired with this family, man. I'm going. I will work for McDonald's until I find a good job, or I will work for Home Depot until I find a good job, or I will drive truck until I find a good job, or I will go to the factory and work in the factory." We got none of that thing in America, in Liberia. You leave the government job, you ain't working for nobody else. Who will hire you? First of all, no Liberian will want to hire you. You are enemy of the government. Who will want to hire you? And these are the problems we got in our country, that we cannot progress, because when people steal our money, rip our country off, we can't have investors coming in to offer jobs and opportunity to Liberian people. The government becomes the only employer. And when you got criminals in the government, stealing the government money and running our government with impunity, who can stand up to the government in Liberia? So you got to check yourselves before you wreck yourselves. We got a long way to go. We got a long way to go. We got a long way to go. And we got to wake up. See the feces in the street. Smell it and wake up and know something not right in Liberia. Where do Liberians start with processes for or of change? This is a difficult question. Why? Because our whole institution, all our institutions are broken down in Liberia still. Our educational system is defunct. Our leadership have no interest in education. Our leadership have no interest in the upliftment of the minds of our children. Our government is immature. Our government is childish. Our government are useless people who have no consciousness, who have no vision, who have no wisdom to lead a nation. Our children are suffering. Our processes for change is obsolete. It's dysfunctional. Look at our school system. The teachers got different system for getting money. You got to put something in an envelope for the teacher with a correction fee. Then you got the sweet girl for everybody, for the teachers. Our system, if our education system, from primary education especially, is corrupt, what future we got for our children? If all our women are being raped and our teachers sleeping with them because they don't have money and these girls want to graduate because they know when you get that degree, there's some semblance of freedom, why wouldn't they give themselves up? Why wouldn't they? And these teachers not sleeping with those girls with protection? No. So they're sleeping with our young girls, probably giving them diseases. Then our young girls sleep with our young boys and deceive them. And it's not only with the girls, it's with the boys too. How many boys in Liberia got godmoms? Got the big old rusted women sleeping with them, paying their school fees. It was in Liberia when I was there. None of my friend had godmoms. But those godmoms don't follow young children looking for education and bright and smart. No. They don't follow those children who learn about sex, who won't live on sex, and feed that getting godmom is a way to success, to good living. It's not different with the godpas. It go both ways in Liberia. The godmom, the women just as bad as the men. The women in Liberia just as bad as the men. It's just that all of them going both ways. All of them going both ways. All of them disgusting. So, you know, there's no age discrimination in Liberia. There's no age discrimination. Our country is poor. Even the educated people leaving from America going to Liberia. You know how many of the people leaving here going to Liberia sleeping with their children for $20, $5? I told you I was in Liberia. People came with all kind of offers to me. Mama, we're gonna take you somewhere. You can get anything you want, get man. $5, $20. You got $20? Bah, you all set for $20. But what kind of enjoyment is that, man? What kind of enjoyment is that? That's like somebody working on a construction job in another city, and all they need is just to relieve themselves every now and then they go to the brothel and do it. But you come from America, you got all the money and all the. Why you want to go sleep with our little children? And you'll see the little children said they just they disgruntled little children running around smiling, acting like they know what they're doing. But it comes from America too. Our Liberian people leave here with the same behavior. They have no love for our people. They take their money and go home with hopes of sleeping with the whole nation. We're sleeping with all the young girls because they got money. And this is what destroys our country. Because the masses of our people poor, they would do anything for money. They would trust. There's no trust in Liberia. Everything is money. You don't have money, why I won't be with you? All the women in Liberia, how many of them you can trust? All the men in Liberia, how many of them you can trust? We have a sad, sad country. And until we check ourselves before we wreck ourselves, our country ain't going nowhere. Look at right now, the children are in school in Liberia. A whole nation, our children are in school. Who do we blame? We can't blame George Weah. George Weah is a stooge being used by Ellen Johnson Sirleaf for a woman to cross her party and go get a man who is illiterate, can't read and write, and making president. You're not suspicious? You don't think something wrong with this woman? How will you build our country to a certain level, then you go bring a dummy? Not somebody who not even equivalent to you. You leave Joe Walker. You leave all the other educated people and go get a dummy. Something got to be wrong. Y'all don't find that as suspicious. Y'all don't find that this woman is trying to hide something. Y'all suffering today. Children not going to school. Feces running through our country. Every system in our country is broken down. The toilet broken down. The commode broken down. The feces broken down. Everything floating through our streets. And y'all can't see that Ellen Johnson Sirleaf is the cause of all this, then I rest my case with you. Then you need to wake up too. Because you're sleeping. Sleeping. And I can't come back to be waking up old people. What I look like? Some babysitter? I can't do that. My class is over. You got to think. My young children, be on your parents. They are useless. They are worthless. They're supporting Ellen Johnson Sally and thinking this woman so great. And look at our country today. If our country was so great, why would this woman take our country to a certain level and give it to a dummy to bring it down to where it is today? Who can stand before me and tell me Ellen Johnson Sally not responsible? That woman is a witch, and you better go after her. My young children, she is the cause of your sufferings. She put George Weah in power. We know George Weah is a dummy. We know George Weah is a role. We know George Weah has no intelligence, can't even read or write. Why would my Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, knowing the same thing, take this man and put him over our country? Only the shadow knows. Squeeze the shadow, choke him, knock him down, beat that shadow, let him expose my Ellen. The time of the Liberian people is now. We have no shadows in Liberia. Let the light of divinity shine on my country and free us from the darkness of the Salifs. Have a good day, my children. Rise, open your eyes. The time of the Liberian people is now.